Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. It is Monday. Delighted to have your company on the programme. And in the studio we have Alan Ruff, Alison McConnell and Barry Ferguson. We're going to look back over the weekend's football Saturday and Sunday in the Scottish Premiership, and we'll be looking ahead to a full card on Wednesday. Yeah, lots to talk about. Saturday and Sunday provided us with some interesting games to look at, and our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi sums it all up.
Hibernian manager Paul Heckingbottom is under increasing pressure as his side surrendered a 2-goal lead to draw at home with Ross County. Kilmarnock are up to third after a 1-0 win over lowly St Mirren. Hearts and Livingston played out a stalemate, meaning the Jambos are just 1 point from the bottom. Indeed, that comes after a much-needed victory for 12th place St Johnstone, who toppled Hamilton Accies 3-2. Aberdeen were humiliated at home by a scintillating Celtic, with boos ringing around Pittodrie. And Rangers made sure only goal difference separates the top two after a late Philippe Elanda winner over Motherwell.
Well, we've got so many interesting topics. The race at the top between Celtic and Rangers. It could be a race for the sack in the capital city between Hearts and Hibs. That's, of course, Paul Heckingbottom and Craig Levein under pressure. And at the bottom end of the table, who's going to get relegated? Who's going to be in that playoff spot? It changes week by week. Ruffy, if you're talking about the most impressive performance of the weekend, it has to be up at Pittodrie. Hundreds of Rangers, hundreds of Aberdeen fans, I beg your pardon, heading for the exits at half time.
Yeah, I think they're beginning to lose faith, and you can see why. You know, so many goals, not like an Aberdeen side losing freely, you know, and on free fall as well. And again, Celtic for 45 minutes were absolutely unbelievable, untouchable again. Fortunately for Aberdeen, they couldn't do it for 90 minutes, or it would have been a cricket score. So, no, you can see it's a bad sign when the fans start leaving. It's a sore one because Derek's done so much up there over the years, but I'm sure if you could get some of the players back, you know, it might make it a wee bit easier. Yeah, and over and above that, I think the manager was well happy with that first 45 minutes.
It's just outstanding football, outstanding control of the game against a very good side, and we were magnificent. You know, to come in at 4-0, you can't ask any more really. I thought we could have had a few more second half, but we had good control of the game. So the mentality of the team was brilliant today, and their fitness levels was shining through. But the overall riding emotion is one of immense pride in that performance, and the players should take an enormous amount of pride in that as well.
Well, I have to say, you know, Aberdeen fans at the best of times can be tolerant, but they certainly are not at this moment looking at Derek McInnes with any great affection, because 4-0, you know, as Ruffy said, it was looking as if it was going to be a cricket score. They're not happy, and this is two guys at the centre of their defence that we have for Scotland as well.
Yeah, they struggled against Edward. I thought he was different class again. As I said at the start of the season, I think if he keeps continuing with this sort of form, he could be even better than Dumbelly. But look, overall, I thought the first 45 minutes Celtic were on a different level to Aberdeen. Aberdeen just couldn't cope with them. And I'm sure Derek was delighted when that half-time whistle went, because if it went on another 5 or 10 minutes, there could have been another couple of goals. He just wanted to get them in there, and I'm sure he went through them, because he'll be disappointed that it wasn't good enough. They just couldn't get close to him. But don't take anything away for Celtic. They were outstanding the first 45.
Yeah, and at the right back position, suddenly there are options. El Hamid will come in for European games at times, regularly gets a run in the Premiership as well, Ali. But suddenly you've got Jeremy Frimpong. Every time he comes in, he's really grabbing the attention.
Absolutely, I think once the boy finds a bit of confidence, I'm sure he'll be fine. I don't think he has any problems in that department. But yeah, I think Neil Lennon had spoken after that League Cup tie against Thistle, saying that he hadn't anticipated giving him a start so early on in the campaign, but felt he had to because he'd impressed so much in training. And it's a kind of bonus, I think, this season for Celtic. I think he was bought with the anticipation that he would be one for the future. He would maybe play in the Development League this season, and it would maybe be a year or 18 months down the line before you really expected to see him. So I think it's maybe taken everyone by surprise that his suitability for first team football is apparent at the minute.
Yeah, and over and above that, his teammate, Mohamed El Yunusi, is well impressed and has a bit of advice for him.
He's a quick fit player, very brave to be his age. So yeah, he needs to keep his feet on the ground and keep working hard. He's still early. It's still early stage of his career, so he needs to be humble and work hard, and he can be a great player in the end.
Just a little footnote, Ruffy, to Aberdeen. They're against Hamilton in midweek. They're not involved in the League Cup semi-finals, which for many Dons fans is unacceptable. Defeat against Hamilton certainly would be... Is it the straw that breaks the camel's back, or is there more to come?
No, I don't think so. I think he's got such a good relationship with the owner there. Obviously, the new stadium, the new training ground, that will be the saving grace for him as now. But like every club, when the fans turn against you, you know, it's a difficult one, and it means that people have got to start making decisions, but I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, well, the manager, Derek McKenna, certainly had a pop at his players.
That was a huge disappointment for me today. I was astonished at what some of the defending, and I was astonished at some of the goals we lose, but it was painful, and I can only apologise to supporters, because all supporters are deserving of far better than that. I think I'm deserving of better than that for my team, and my players are better than what they showed today. And
Aberdeen, not good times up at Pittodrie. Celtic, top of the league on goal difference, hotly followed by Rangers. When you're not playing well, Barry Ferguson, and you win 2-1 against Motherwell, is that a good sign?
Yeah, it certainly is. It was a poor performance by Rangers standards over the last few weeks. But it's all about grinding these sort of results out when you're not playing at the top of your game. Obviously, Thursday night against Porto took a lot out of them. But that's a sign of a good team, when you're not playing at the top of your game and you're still grinding out a win to get 3 points. That's the main thing for this Rangers team. Stephen Gerrard says he, as a manager, he felt as if they got away with one there.
I think that happens over the course of any season. I think it's a hallmark, or traditionally it's been the hallmark of champions, that you grind it out when you're not on it. I don't think it's any huge surprise. If you look across Europe, when teams come off the back of Champions League and Europa League performances midweek, it's so frequent that you see a dip in domestic performance after it. I don't think it's any huge surprise. I think what you would say is this time 12 months ago or 18 months ago, is that a game that Rangers would have won, or would they have dropped points at it?
Yeah, just a footnote to that as well, Barry. Is it time for James Tavernier just to be told, listen, forget about penalties, you're not on them anymore?
Yeah, I think, the manager's mentioned that. I'm sure he'll have a quiet word in his ear, and I'm sure the responsibility will go over to somebody else. I've been in the same situation as him. I've missed a few penalties in my time, and sometimes you just got to say, right, you know what, I've had my go now, it's somebody else's turn.
Yeah, OK. From the old firm, we switch our attention to the east of Scotland and in the capital city. It's not good fare for Hearts or Hibs. We'll be talking about Paul Heckingbottom and Craig Levein after we give you a little moment of respite from the doom and gloom and maybe lift your spirits with this special competition.
It's a Hearts and Hibs special competition. Simply like, share and follow PLZ Soccer on Facebook, YouTube or Twitter, and you're in with a chance of winning a signed shirt from Stevie Naismith of Hearts or Scott Allen of Hibs. Don't forget to state which one you want to win after you've hit the like, share, follow or subscribe button. Good luck!
Answer that, Ruffy. You can't go in for that competition, so there's no point in trying to win the Hibs top, but you can give us your thoughts on Hibs. 3-2, 2-2, I beg your pardon. They were 2-0 up and suddenly pegged back by Ross County to 2-2. and I've been speaking to more than a few Hibbies. You had it, you were out there in Musselburgh with me yesterday. There's more than a few disgruntled Hibs fans.
Yeah, they certainly are, and it's just a case of a team who can't see out a game. At 2-0, they look good, not great, but they look good, and then they lose a goal, and there's not enough leaders on the park to see out the game. And you could feel the tension for the crowd as well, and it was going down onto the park, and lo and behold, they do lose that goal. And no, they're not happy. They're not happy where they're sitting in the league. The cup games for me are two big games for Hibs and Hearts, you know, depending on how they go.
Yeah, Ali, it's now one of those situations where it's rather worryingly, both sets of fans are starting to talk about changing the manager, and I'm getting that feeling where I'm going week in, week out, which one's going to topple first?
I think you could toss a coin for it just now. I think Craig Levine's situation's maybe compounded just by the fact he has that director of football role too. There's maybe an added complication there, but I think it's a difficult weekend for both of them. I can't envisage either of them coming out with a place in the final, and I think that brings it into sharp focus again, because I felt as though last season Hearts getting to the final really masqueraded the problems that were apparent from the turn of the year, from Christmas time onwards last year. I think the problems that you're seeing now, the manifestation of them, was evident early on last year. I think the Hearts fans have made their feelings known. I think we've talked about it before, but when you get to the point where you've got fans protesting at your front door and you need stewards to keep them out, I think that you know that the clock is ticking. Paul Heckingbottom, I think, maybe hasn't had quite the same amount of time that it's been off, but I think patience is also running out.
Yeah, it's a strange one, Barry, but I look at it and I say, if Ali's talking about the element of good fortune for Craig Levine of getting them to the cup final and suddenly that bought him a bit of time, I wonder if a loss to Celtic in the semi-final will accelerate the lack of time for Paul Heckingbottom, with the fans saying, enough is enough.
Yeah, but I don't think both of the Edinburgh teams have any chance of getting into the final. That's just the way I feel. I think Rangers and Celtic are far too strong for them. The midweek games will count. I know Livy come Easter Road, so he'll need to win that game, and obviously Hearts go up to McDermott Park. That's their first win, so they'll be full of confidence, but I don't see any of the two Edinburgh teams going through into the final.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, Ruffy, that you get to a situation where I thought under Neil Lennon, Hibs were suddenly changing their mindset at boardroom level. On the park, almost certainly, guided by a manager with a real drive and ambition to take them to another level. I think it's gone backwards.
It's certainly gone backwards, there's no doubt about that. When you look at the three midfield players that Neil Lennon had, and he's not even got that quality now. He's lost Boyle, and he's not identified the right people to come into the club. The fans haven't bought into him as a person. He doesn't sell to the fans. Neil did. They got involved with him. They liked the banter with Neil. If he's not happy with the players, he's letting them know. Heckingbottom doesn't do that, and he's just not coming over well in the press conferences either. So I think his time is ticking away, and a heavy defeat in the semi-final just could be the straw.
Yeah, and over and above that, Ali, I mean, you can remember the whole fallout from Neil Lennon leaving. Florian Camberry was really at the centre of it. He hasn't suddenly kicked on to become a player who can say, well, I'm proving the ex-gaffer wrong.
Well, what you're seeing is justified criticism almost at play, aren't you? I think there's definitely an element of that. I think there was a kick initially when Paul Heckingbottom came in and Neil left, but they seem like a club in freefall at the minute. I think the atmosphere around the club, the atmosphere around the players, it feels like end of days. You get that feeling around it. I've watched them a few times this season. I've never seen anything about them that's been particularly impressive. You expect more from them, and if that's the way we feel as observers who are casually there 1 week and not there for a few weeks, what does it feel like for Hibs support that are there week in, week out? Yeah,
maybe a good idea, Ruffy, that we're not having a Christmas party in Edinburgh this year, because it's not been good. It's not been good fare from you three. I might get away with a wee visit to Edinburgh, but you three have got absolutely no chance. Now, let's be positive. Kilmarnock against St Mirren. Kelly are up to third. And for all, and I include many of the pundits on this programme, including myself, I had Angelo Alessio bulleted after about the first 2 months.
Yeah, he struggled the first 3 or 4 games, but given a bit of time now, he's obviously worked hard with the group of players, and now they're up to third, and he's doing a good job. So it's always going to be difficult, new manager coming in, he's got a different style probably from Stevie Clarke, but now you're starting to see them motoring a bit and playing good stuff, and at the end of the day they're getting 3 points, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, they seem to be the star men. Motherwell have just slipped away from that third spot and fourth as well. I'm looking at, I'm still saying to myself, I still think they'll finish in the top 4, Motherwell. What do you think, Ali? Kelly, are they top 3 for you?
I think they could be up there. I'm not sure about top 3. I think they'll definitely be top 6 as the season goes on. Like you, I was amazed that Angelo Alessio made it into September. Initially, I thought it didn't augur well, the manner in which it started. But
are we all guilty of it in the press that we're now at the situation where we're moving towards, you know, are we all English, Scottish, European, all with this trigger-happy feeling it needs to be a quick fix, it needs to be 4 or 5 games, or we should be talking about them getting the sack?
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing at Kilmarnock was it wasn't a quick fix, that he was going into a club that had punched above their weight for 2 seasons, that had had historically their best campaigns under Steve Clarke that they'd enjoyed before. So I think that's probably actually quite difficult when you're stepping into someone's shoes who's actually been successful, rather than going in and having to get results. There's a different pressure there. But I do think we're guilty, and I think it's maybe not just being guilty of impatience, but also of not being receptive to new ideas and different ways of doing things, and insistence that maybe, you know, your own ways is better. I think we had Kirk Broadfoot slagging off training, and he wasn't happy about feeling as though they weren't working on their fitness levels enough, they were doing too much technical work. I think sometimes we maybe have to just be a bit more open-minded and receptive to what people have got to say and what to do, because his pedigree was substantial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just need to be a bit more receptive, Ruffy. There you are. I'm looking at you.
Not me. Not me. I'd never sack anybody after 4 or 5 games.
Well, to be fair, you don't have that ruthless streak in you, Ruffy. You'd keep them in a job. What about St Johnstone? He's 3-2 win. He deserves credit.
Well, that's another episode, isn't it? Everybody was saying his time's numbered, blah, blah, blah. But when you've got that kind of experience and what he's done for the club, you have to take all these things into consideration. There is a time scale of when it can't go on any longer, but I don't think he was anywhere near that.
Yeah, OK. So from the weekend's Premiership, Ruffy, I've got to get your thoughts on a number of players who were voted into the Scottish Football Hall of Fame last night. Your old mucker, Joe Harper, got in there. One of my favourite players, Paul Sturrock, was also voted into the Hall of Fame, along with Colin Steen, who is a Rangers legend, scored in the 1972 European Cup Winners' Cup final. Tommy McLean, brilliant winger. Over and above that, Patsy Gallagher as well. And my best pal for almost 20 years, John Robertson of Hearts. Well worthy of a place.
Yeah, certainly when you start looking at the records of all these guys, I can't remember the collective goal scoring, but it would be a lot of goals, you know, that you're talking about, and these are the things you should be looking at. Joe Harper in particular was my era. You know, I think I actually got Joe to Argentina. We played them 3 times in a week, and he scored 8 goals just before the squad was announced for Argentina.
Yeah. Can I just say, see if you can, and I hate to exclude you on this, only on the basis of youth. Can you give me one word? I've got one word in my head to try and describe Joe Harper. Have you got?
Barrel.
No, I wouldn't be that negative about him. I was thinking poacher. That was the one thing.
It was like Robbo and Joe were the same. If you made a save and you didn't keep a hold of it, or you didn't get it out the road, they'd be standing there just waiting to tap it in. Poachers, you're right.
Yeah, and Robbo, for me, the reason why I just thought he was fantastic, Barry, is quite simply he remembers every goal he scored. He remembers the weather on the day, whether the pitch was slippy, and who he was up against to score the goal.
Yeah, I watched him quite a number of times because my brother played through there. So me and my dad used to go through to Tynecastle, and he was a poacher. goal scorer, good player. I tell you what, I've met him a few times since he's been managing. A right good guy. He always takes a bit of time out to have a chat with you.
Yeah, and you know the great thing he used to say, Ruffy, which I thought was absolutely fantastic, especially if you're playing if you were lucky enough to play in the odd charity game with him. He used to say to people who were playing, and he'd talk them through the game, and he'd say, "You're a striker, go into the box. That's where you earn your money." He said that was how he played the game. My game wasn't about, I'm a striker, I'm paid to score goals, so where do you get the ball? You get the ball in the box. And he always anticipated the goalkeeper dropping the ball in front of him, as you well know.
Yeah, well, Sandy would have beaten you up first. Sandy Clark would have tossed you about, and then he'd have just thrown it in the back of the net.
Yeah, absolutely. And Patsy Gallagher, well worthy of it. Colin Steen, I think, just a fantastic player for Rangers. I think Rangers' legendary player because of the Cup Winners' Cup. And of course, Tommy McLean, he's one of those guys, Barry, who seem to be able just to... Some players whip the ball in if they're a winger. Tommy McLean floated it in because he knew big Derek Johnson would be on the end of it.
Yeah, again, I'll always look back, obviously growing up a Rangers fan, you look back at all these legends, you get to meet them when you go in, round about the stadium, and no, he was a very good player. He was also a youth coach in at Rangers as well, so I knew him pretty well.
Yep, and I've got to just quickly give a mention to one of my favourite players, Ali, Paul Sturrock, Dundee United. A lot of people will not be aware of the fact that in 1984, Dundee United were in the semi-finals of the European Cup final against Roma. It's incredible, and he was the absolute darling of the United fans.
How must the Tannadice support look to those days just now and just think, my lord. But yeah, he's a fantastic player, and I think his inclusion is absolutely merited.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a teammate of yours, Ruffy, at international level.
Yeah, he came in one of the World Cups as well, and I think he got a game instead of Charlie Nicholas and Frank McAviney.
Yeah.
So, no, he was a quality player, always had his socks at his ankles, and he was the original that got the tackling from behind stopped.
Yeah.
Because he used to get, he'd just get...
Well, I'm amazed we actually managed to get a photograph of him standing up there, because how he's got any ankles left, I will never know. Booted from pillar to post. OK, there it is. Congratulations to all the inductees into the Scottish Football Hall of Fame. Of course, Ruffy is in there after a long, substantial wait. I wonder who was on the committee to deny him. Anyway, on that note, thank you to each and every one of you for joining us day in, day out. The ever-growing football family across PLZ Soccer on Twitter, on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Don't forget, you can enter that competition. You've got a chance to win Scott Allen's shirt or indeed Stevie Naismith's shirt at Hearts. All the competition there open to you on all the social media we have available. All you have to do is like, share and follow. From Ruffy, from Alison and from Barry Ferguson and myself, Peter Martin, thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.